Hello everyone, Danny here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for Ahsoka Episode 4, Part 4, Fallen Jedi. This one is directed by Peter Ramsey, written by Dave Filoni, stars Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano, Natasha Liu Bordizzo as Sabine Wren, Diana Lee Onisanto as Morgan Esbeth, Ivana Sagno as Shin Hati, Ray Stevenson as Balin Skoll, David Tennant as Huyang, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Hera. So, wow, this one, my goodness, like I just finished watching it a couple minutes ago. I was taking notes as I was, going through the episode, seeing what I was going to talk about. And there's really only one thing I want to talk about, but we'll go in order. So, spoilers ahead. I'm just kind of going to go through the episode and tell you what I thought of each of the each of the moments. Right, this one wasn't too long. It was about 30 or so minutes. And we pick up right there where we left off with Ahsoka and Sabine stranded with Huyang in the ship, while all the bad guys are trying to activate the map to figure out the coordinates. So we know their plan is they want to get General Admiral Grand Admiral Thrawn back, um, and they're going to use this map to figure out how to get to this other place with this giant hyperspace drive thing that they built. I mean, classic Star Wars shenanigans. But I think what is more important about this episode, first of all, we continue to explore the relationship between Ahsoka and Sabine as they discuss if they can do what it will need, like whatever it takes to stop them, which may include not being able to save Estra, not being like having to destroy this map. Ahsoka has a very stern resolve, but I think Sabine, we don't know where she stands on that. So Skull sends his troops to move in on them. We see a little bit of a cool fight. Huyang fights the droid, although he has a few moves. He doesn't have all the moves, unfortunately. Um, then we cut to Hera and the crew setting off to help. So they're going over this planet against authorization, against orders from the council or the Senate or whatever that group of individuals with Mon Mothma was. So we'll see what the consequences are there. She takes off with Chopper and her son, who we met last episode. I mean, we've met him before, but we see him again this episode, and also a couple of familiar faces in some of those X-wings. So yeah, the one of the pilots. He is the threat throughout all these series, which is incredible. Um, so we finally get a few confrontations that we've probably been waiting on. We get a rematch between Marok and Ahsoka, and also a rematch between Shin and Sabine. Sabine here is relying more on her Mandalorian skills. We know that even though she's had a little bit of training, in just the flight over, she's still not very confident or capable with the lightsaber as a Jedi. So her training is definitely lacking still. Shin is aware of this, but Sabine's always been a good fighter. Like regardless of Jedi, abilities or not, she's a Mandalorian. She's always had a good fight in her. What I was really excited for was this rematch between Ahsoka and Merrick, which was great. I think the choreography is great. I really love the setting too of this forest with all the trees. Like when you have a lightsaber fight in a forest, trees are gonna get damaged. They're gonna fall, especially with this really cool red foliage that the trees have. Is really like it really makes this place look very different. It reminds me a little bit of what we saw in the Force Awakens at the end, but this forest is different, right? So, but either way, very cool. So we I think sometimes we build up as fans, we build up too much hype about characters because Mara kind of went up in a puff of smoke, literally. They do this really cool thing, which I really enjoy in Star Wars, which, as you guys know, Jedi are based, or even lightsaber combat is based on samurai. And oftentimes, when a samurai would have a duel, it would all come down to one strike. It would all come down to one move, just them facing off one time, and whatever samurai connects the best and the most efficiently or lethally wins the duel. So we have Ahsoka facing off against Merrick. They both get in a stance. Merrick is using that helicopter lightsaber thing because that's what the Inquisitor lightsabers do. And she just takes him out. I don't know how. I don't know what happened. It was just like a very quick strike, but it was really cool. And then we see Merrick kind of go off in a puff of smoke. So that tells me that he was just some kind of like animated, like via magic, maybe a spirit of a fallen warrior inhabiting that body that that Morgan put on there to help them out. Um, and then Ahsoka moves on to try to stop them with the map, which was really cool. But that was a really fun fight. And then we get Shin and Sabine also have a really good fight, I think. But I mean, ultimately, Sabine is no match for her as a Jedi. But as I mentioned, Sabine's got tricks up her sleeve, literally, in this episode. So, really cool stuff. They kind of, it's really a stalemate. Shin drops a smoke bomb, which I thought was really funny, like a real fun way to disappear, like a Batman kind of way out. And she goes to help Skull. We finally get a really cool match that I've been waiting for as well. This was all about the fights. This episode was all about the fights. We get Baylan Skull against Ahsoka, and they are very evenly matched. I think the I would say the edge would go to Baylan only because Ahsoka, her primary focus was to grab the map, destroy the map, whatever, like get rid of the map, right? So they're fighting all around it. She grabs the map and it kind of burns her hand. Really cool effects. I really love that setting, especially because they're surrounded by like this magic look of the map. Like, no, it's not really magic, but it's projecting like all the stars around them, so it looks kind of like a little force field. Very cool stuff. But yeah, ultimately, she takes the map out right before they get the coordinates, but then Sabine and Shin come out, and because her hand is hurt, Baylan's able to get the best of her. And ultimately, even though Sabine was threatening to destroy the map, Baylan knew that she wouldn't because she wants to know about Isra. So he hits Ahsoka over like the cliff, and that's kind of where we leave her until not really a post-credit scene, but like this is the last scene of the episode. We'll talk more about that in a second. So yeah, Sabine cannot destroy the map. She wants to find Ezra. She needs to find Ezra, and Baylan knows this. Like he can tell just by using the Force. So they kind of take her hostage, prisoner, whatever. They take her, and they set off. We do see Hera and the gang showing up a little bit too late. They're trying to stop this ring from activating. But this ship is a giant ship. I knew from the get go that that wasn't gonna that they weren't gonna be able to stop this ship, right? It's a giant ship, but it is interesting to see another use of like a ship taking off, a big ship taking off, and what the effect is when it jumps to hyperspace, what the effect is on the space around it, because it caused all the other ships, the smaller fighters, the X-wings, to kind of crash into each other. One of them actually like crashed and it's burning up into the planet, and yeah, so like I like exploring the idea of this. The hyperspace jump has more consequences because ultimately, later on, like in the Last Jedi, we see that it was used as a battle tactic. That like it's a one-time thing. Really, you can't really do that. That's not a good plan. You can't just be throwing ships onto the other one. But I mean, to surprise your enemy when they least expect it, definitely works. So yeah, they jump with Sabine and they're out there, and we are just kind of left like, what the fuck is happening? So I think this episode really gave us a lot of stuff. So let me talk about the last part of it because this is this is what everybody was waiting for. Ahsoka wakes up in this. If you've seen Rebels, this will make more sense to you. If you haven't seen Rebels, I'm sorry, I don't know how to explain this. I don't even know the name of the place, um, but it's like this place where you can travel through time and space in Star Wars, and she's there. Like Rebels fans know exactly what I'm talking about. I'll try to. Hopefully, I was able to find the picture, and you're seeing it on the screen at the moment. If not, just imagine like this giant black space with pathways on the floor, like lit up pathways on the floor. Um, And yeah, and we hear a familiar voice, and that is the voice of Anakin Skywalker. And we see Hayden Christensen come back as Anakin Skywalker, and so Ahsoka calls out Master. Like they start to talk. Here's what really got me at the end though, because I do watch with the closed captioning. As the scene was kind of fading out to black, Darth Vader's theme played. It like the caption said, "Vader's theme plays," or Vader's music, whatever. And I mean, and it's very recognizable. Like it's Anakin had his own music earlier on. It changed to the Darth Vader music as we know it now, but he had his own theme and music before he turned into Darth Vader. So why is if they are if they're in this time and out of if they're in this place out of time and that is supposed to be Anakin, why would Vader's music play? That's just kind of what's in my head rattling about. I feel like next week we're gonna get a fight between Ahsoka and Vader, uh, a rematch from Rebels. And sorry if I'm spoiling Rebels. Um, and that's gonna have to be the fight for Ahsoka to maybe get out of that place and come back. Um, I'm very interested to see as well where this new place is with where Balin and they're all going to get Thrawn. I want to see what that place looks like. They have an opportunity to show us something we've never seen in Star Wars because this is another galaxy, literally another galaxy from the one that we've seen all this stuff happening. So the stakes are pretty high. I don't remember how many episodes. I believe this is supposed to be 8 episodes, so we still have quite a bit of story to tell. And then what are Hera and the Republic, the New Republic? How are they going to act with these news that that the throne may be coming back and there may be a rise to this new empire. So really cool stuff. Great episode, really fun. It really goes by very quickly. I may rewatch it tonight just because there's enough time. And I kind of want to see some of those fights again. During Balin and Ahsoka's fight, she does this move where she goes back and uses the leverage of putting her leg up, like Balin swings and she stops it, but she also at the same time puts her leg up against the rock, like almost 90-degree angle her legs to like give herself even more leverage. Very cool. Like I think the fighting has been really fun in this series. As much as I love the jumping around and the cool fight, like cool lightsaber fights, I love seeing the more methodical fights. Like Balin and Ahsoka's match felt like a chess match with the lightsabers, as opposed to something that's a little bit more savage, or even comparing it to the fight with Shin and Sabine, who are both of them are less experienced than both Ahsoka and Balin. So really cool stuff. Really happy that this series is really focusing on a lot of the stuff I really like about Star Wars. I think Dave Filoni knows what I want to see. Hopefully that means that hopefully a lot more people want to see the same thing and they're not disappointed by the series. But I'm really enjoying it so far. So there you have it. We'll talk more about this in the future. But let me know what you think about this episode down in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe. If you have the name of that place, drop it in the comments so I can talk about it better so I can talk about it next episode. So yeah, as always, thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.